In this video, I'm going to go over problems 1 through 4 on the review, and then there will be a part 2 for the rest of the review. So I'm going to go over 1 through 4. So number 1, triangle ABC is shown below. What is the measure of angle C? So we're looking for the missing angle. So one thing we need to remember is that all angles add up to 180. And I'm going to put that in a bubble so that I remember that for my test tomorrow. You need to remember that. So the first thing I need to do is add whatever angles they give me. So step 1, we're going to add 32.8 plus 80. And then remember, when we add decimals, we need to line up our decimals. So I need to put a decimal on number 80. So my decimal will be all the way to the end. So I would have 80.0. Think of it as money. If this were to be $80, my decimal will be all the way at the end. So we add 8 plus 0 is 8. We bring down the decimal. 2 plus 0 is 2. And 3 plus 8 is 11. Now, sometimes you may have this answer as one of your answer choices, but don't let them trick you. Remember, you are still not done. Now you need to subtract it from 180. And then since we still have a decimal here, we need to put a decimal in 180 as well. So we can line up our decimals, and we're able to subtract. 0 minus 8, we need to borrow. This 0 becomes 9. 8 becomes 7, and this 0 is now 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down decimal. 9 minus 2 is 7, and 7 minus 1 is 6. So my answer is J. Number 2, find the area of a trapezoid. So to find the area of a trapezoid, we need to use our star chart. Remember, you will be able to use this tomorrow on your test. You are not expected to memorize your formulas. However, if you look at your formula for a trapezoid, you see 1/2 times B1 plus B2 times H. You need to remember that anytime you see this 1/2, same thing for triangle, that is the exact same thing as dividing by 2. So instead of having 1/2 times this, I'm going to have B1 plus B2 times H divided by 2. So instead of multiplying by 1/2, I'm going to divide all of that by 2 because it's easier. So now that we have our formula, we can plug in our values. We're looking for the area, so we keep our A. My bases are the sides that are parallel to one another, meaning those two sides will never touch. And that is my top and my bottom. If they keep going, they will never touch. So those are my bases. And that goes inside my parentheses. So 6 plus 8.5. My height is the side that is straight. Remember, how do you stand at the doctor's for them to measure your height? You stand up straight. You never use the slanted. So my height is 4, and then we divide it by 2. So first we start with our parentheses, and since we are adding decimals, we need to line up our decimals. So 6 plus 8.5, and then remember my decimal and the number 6 is at the end. And then we fill in that extra space with a 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. Bring down decimal. And 6 plus 8 is 14. So in my parentheses, I now have 14.5. But we're still not done. We need to multiply by 4 and divide by 2. So I'm going to do it down here. 14.5 times 4. Now we're multiplying with decimals, so we need to line up our digits. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry my 2. 4 times 4 is 16. plus 2, 18, carry the 1, and then 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And then don't forget, you need to move your decimal, so it becomes 58, and then we divide that by 2. And this is the exact same thing as typo. Top number goes in, bottom goes out. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 5 2 times, we get 4. Subtract, and then bring down, and 2 goes into 18 9 times. So we get 29 centimeters squared. Alright, next one, number 3. The rectangle below is cut along the dotted line to form a triangle. What is the area of the triangle in square inches? So since we're looking for the area of a triangle, we're going to look for the formula for area of a triangle. And then notice how you have that 1/2. Remember, anytime you see that 1/2, that is the exact same thing as dividing by 2. So my formula is going to be A equals base times height divided by 2. Remember, you're going to be able to use this tomorrow, but if you don't know or you get confused tomorrow with that fraction, you need to remember that that is the exact same thing as dividing by 2. And now we can plug in our values. Since we're multiplying, it doesn't really matter what we use for our base and our height. Remember, we never use the slanted, so we only use 12 and 5. And then we divide that by 2. 12 times 5 is 60. And then 60 divided by 2 is 30. My units are inches squared. Next one, the area of a parallelogram is 57.6. The base of the parallelogram is 9 inches. What is h? So we're looking for the height. But since we're talking about area of a parallelogram, we're going to look for our formula. And area of a parallelogram equals A equals BH. So pretty simple. A equals base times height. And then we plug in what we know. The area, they tell me that is 57.6. So instead of my A, I'm going to put in 57.6. My base is 9 inches long. So I'm going to put a 9 in place of the B. And then we're looking for the H, so we're going to bring down our H. So now we have to find what number times 9 that will give me 57.6. So in other words, we just need to divide by 9. So 57.6 divided by 9. And that will give me my H. Since I have a decimal, I'm going to bring it straight up and divide. 9 cannot go into 5. 9 goes into 57 6 times. And we get 54. 7 minus 4 is 3. Bring the 6 down. And 9 goes into 36 4 times. So the height would be 6.4 inches. And since this is not area, it's not square, it's just 6.4 inches. Alright, so that's part 1. Go ahead and continue on to part 2 for the remainder of the question.